Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for a bench press day. And sorry I don't have the footage of the first set of bench. It happens. I only got 4 sets on camera. So we led with this set of pull-ups in the footage. But I superset my bench and my pull-ups, and what I'm doing here, I'm still sticking with 5x5 or big lifts. And then we do tons of pump work afterwards. And I really like this approach. And yes, I threw the belt and the wrist straps back on. And again, I'm staying real wide though. That's the thing I noticed the other day. I feel like I'm a little stronger when I go really wide, right? Especially with the fairly flat back, because my arch is very modest here. And again, I'm trying to just build my chest, because I'm only going to have 2 exercises for chest, and I'm just going to hammer triceps at the end. So I'm trying to get the most out of the benching, so I'm trying to do nice solid pauses, right? And here's the thing I can say, I really felt a ton of pectoral activation today. I was really happy with the way the benching felt when I threw the wrist straps and everything on. And I think it's obvious since I've been cutting, I have definitely lost bench strength. And I accept that because right now, even though I do want my big lifts to go back up, I'm focused on cutting and I'm focused on overall size and aesthetics and body composition. And I'm cutting right now, so I'm focusing on getting leaner. I have to tighten that waistline up. But really, I've got to build arms more than anything. I need to lose more body fat. I need the fat and loose skin to tighten up around the waist, and I need to put more arm on. So I'm going to prioritize arm work. But my couple of big movements are going to work everything else. I'm basically relying on the bench, the pull-up, and the pullover to build my whole torso. And I'm talking all of it. And then over half my workout's going to focus on just arms after that. Arms, because that's what I need to hit. So I feel like with this style of benching, this is going to give the best chest development, right? It's going to give me the best chest development. And that's what I need as far as out of my benching goes. That style of bench that I'm doing there, that will build your chest. It will build your whole chest top to bottom. And I like the incline. Don't get me wrong. I like incline benching. I just feel like at this point, if I want to prioritize arms, I can't really work on incline also. If I did, I would need to replace flat bench with it, and I don't think that's ideal for overall growth. But I think everyone agrees my arms really need the most work. So in addition to body composition first, like body fat first right now. And, I thought it was funny. I've had people chime in, and most people have been very supportive, like 90% of the people, but some diehard fans are like, oh, there's no point going under 15% body fat. And I'm sorry, guys, that's just not true. Your health markers will improve, and yes, body weight matters. Meaning if you're up over 200 pounds, being 50, even at 15% body fat, could make your body weight a little too heavy. Again, for everything being optimal. I need to get leaner. I'll look better. I'll have a better strength to weight ratio. And then I can always grow lean later. I've got to bring the arms up. So I'm training them now, even though I may not get any significant growth while cutting. And yes, I'm fully aware that my strength has gone down while cutting on the benching. So I'm going to push benching really hard for the multiple sets. We're going to give 10 real good quality sets of bench every week. Keep pushing it even though I'm cutting. And like I said, I felt all chest on this. Like I didn't feel any tricep at all. And that's kind of where I'm at with my benching right now. It is absolutely a chest dominant exercise, the way that I'm performing this. So whatever different theories people have on the benching, keep in mind it may be the way that you're benching. But in my case, yeah, this is absolutely hammering my chest. Just like the pull-ups, the way I do them right now, I feel so much back, posterior deltoid trap, all of that. So again, same thing. I'm doing my pull-ups for back. People can make the case that, well, maybe chins for your arms would be better, but I'm like, I can always just do curls. And not that the other is wrong, and I'm not saying using chins to build biceps is a bad idea. It's not. But I don't want to lose any back development. Okay, I don't want to risk loss of back development. I feel like the pull-up just brings so much to the table. But I mean, I could always change that. But it's also my only real exercise for to really make sure I'm working the brachialis and radial brachialis and all the forearm stuff. Okay, because all the curls I'm doing with a true supine grip. So coming over to that, we did our 5x5 on those two lifts and trying to get the longest ranges of motion possible. So the curls today, I decided to do the curls a little stricter. I'm like, let's take the volume up a hair, and I want to go real wide. And it's harder for me to lift a heavier weight wide, but I do feel like there's a little better potential for overall bicep development. So I decided to do those supersetted with my pullovers. All right, the pullovers, I'm going to push these harder. All right, I'm quit using them to try to do long pauses in the 45. I managed to get like 20 reps on one of the sets last time. Like, let me go up to a 55, see how many reps give me a quality set. I ended up getting 12s on all of it. Got a fantastic pump in my pecs and my lats. But here's the thing. As much as I'm like, yeah, this works the long head of the tricep, my triceps, I feel like they're just not coming along at all, even doing this stuff. Pullovers and benching is absolutely not giving me enough tricep work. Even though we could say hypothetically all the heads, no, my triceps need tons of work. And I remember when I was close gripping, look how much tricep pump work I was doing when I was close gripping 365. I think we need a return to some of that. And so triceps are going to be prioritized very heavily. I mean, biceps right behind it. But really, when I look at the two side by side, and I've looked at different angles and footage, even the stuff you guys aren't always seeing on camera, even the walking back and forth, I just feel like the triceps are visibly smaller. So I'm going to hit my triceps from 3 rep ranges, and that's going to be the real kicker. The pullovers are just not cutting it. These are a phenomenal back and chest exercise. They're great for my shoulders. I feel a ton of delt. Like, this is almost a true straight up delt exercise too. But the triceps need a lot of direct work. So here's how I'm going to play it. We're going to do bench, we're going to do skull crushers, and we're going to do band press downs. It's going to give me 3 rep ranges. I'm going to have 3 angles, 3 different training modalities, and this is again prioritizing the weakest link. My triceps are going to get probably more volume than any other muscle in my body at this point. They definitely are this week. Definitely with these last couple workouts. Just like my posterior chain stuff's going to go up on the lower days, so I'm going to keep hammering that for the deadlift. But the thing is, if I bring my triceps up, I feel like my max bench will go back up too. You know, because the bench is building my chest, but then I get triceps stronger and I can move more weight on the work sets. I think my chest will grow also. But we're going to have to prioritize it, and I'm going to have to let these other exercises do all the torso work. So the ones that you've seen up through here, bench press, pullovers, pull-ups, that's going to handle all of my chest, back, shoulders, all of that. But there's a lot of splash over from the curls into that, and then my deadlifts and all the other stuff. But again, prioritizing. They're going to do that, and then I'm just going to hammer arms with a bias towards triceps. I'm going to see if I can work off some old muscle memory and maybe get the triceps as big as they were when I had the 365 bench. Because I feel like now that I'm leaner, if I can get onto that size again, that will probably help. And at least I've got muscle memory. That's my theory. People are like, how are you going to get anything cutting? Well, possibly muscle memory. Possibly muscle memory. So, also, by the way, my birthday is tomorrow. So, yeah, I'll turn 47 then. And the scale's been jumping around a little. It's back up a hair today, but I was down to 214. I'd actually dropped under 214 yesterday, just a hair under. I don't want to call it 213. But we're seeing the general downward trend now. And hoping to keep that going. We're just going to keep slowly working down towards 200 and try to gain any muscle that I can along the way, even if some of it's off muscle memory. Now, these pullovers felt great, and I felt, because I'm not even pausing, I'm just hitting that stretch reflex as far as I can go. I felt a lot of shoulder too. And again, I feel it stretching that area where I have the limited range of motion. And again, I feel like it's still improving it. But that was my best performance on the pullovers, getting 12s with that. And again, supersetting it with these curls, trying to take these a little stricter. I'm only doing 75 pounds here. But the 10s start to get pretty heavy. I think for this wider grip, and trying to do the longest range of motion possible. Again, it's quite fatiguing. I ended up doing 7 sets of curls because I continued to superset them after the pullovers. I'm like, my chest doesn't need any more. I got 5 sets of bench, 5 sets of pullovers. That's 10 sets for pecs. We're good. But we can question how much arm work I get from this other stuff. I mean, do I think pull-ups count as a bicep exercise? Conventional wisdom says they do. Are they going to work my biceps as much as a curl? And is that enough? So I ended up doing more than 5 sets. I went up to about 7 because I continued to do the supersets after my Skullcrushers. So I did these, and then I just moved it over. I went straight to the Skullcrushers and then continued to do a couple sets of curls in between. All right, Skullcrushers, instead of doing the other laying extensions, I had been doing those, and yet my triceps are still lagging. So I'm like, let's just do a Skullcrusher, right? Do a Skullcrusher. We'll get that deep tension at the bottom when it's right over the face. They felt good. I'll be honest though, I almost feel the J-home press more. It's a tough call. And I like the other pullovers with the stretch and the potential for the long head. But I'm not sure that I really feel the triceps the same. And we know that the Skullcrusher works as long as you can keep your elbow tendons healthy. Well, how do we do that? I think keep the reps a little higher and to really hammer the band work to build the tendons and to get blood flow to it. Stave off that tendonitis. But continue to do curls with those, and I ended up going pretty far with the volume on all of that. I ended up doing 5 sets of Skullcrushers. 5 sets. So even though we did 5 sets of bench, we did 5 sets of Skullcrushers. I need to make sure that long head gets worked. And I did them for sets of 10, and they started to get real fatiguing near the end. They got real fatiguing. So where did this put us for tricep work? Well, we got 5 by 5 bench. We did 5 by 10 Skullcrushers. It's a pretty good amount of work. But then I did tons of pump work. I just hammered short breaks and just did band press downs to failure. And I'll discuss that as we get a little closer, because people really don't like the way I did my band press downs before. They would always complain, but I'm like, they brought my close grip bench up. Remember when I was focusing on close grip and I was doing tons of those, doing them the way I'm doing them now, my close grip kept climbing. So clearly they work. And the other thing is, again, everyone wants to talk about these stretch position movements. Well, that's exactly what they are. They're a lengthened position movement the way I'm doing them. But again, one more set of curls there. So that ended up doing 7 sets of 10 on that. All right. The Skullcrushers on these, I'm using a very narrow grip. I've noticed it actually feels easiest on my joints. It seems to give a really, really good pump in the tricep. Feels like it stretches the entire tricep. And it just has a good feeling. Again, it's just going to be difficult on the elbows, so something to be aware of. And then I finished up with 5 sets of band press downs, and they were all like 25 to 40 reps. I lost count. I just took them until they burned. And again, you guys will notice that I'm doing, not only do my elbows not, my full range of motion doesn't lock the way other people think, because again, I'm slightly an outlier on that end of it. So you have people who hyperextend their elbows and that's their full range of motion. And then you have people who obviously are at 90 degrees, and then some people whose elbows don't fully lock. And I demonstrated it in competition for the judges, and they accepted the limited range of motion as part of my anatomy. Again, you're not going to trick judges with something like that who look at this stuff all the time. So again, that's part of it. But then when you're running the more aggressive band tensions on those, you can't quite lock them, even with really high reps. And that's okay, because it jerks you back into an overspeed eccentric, and it puts a ton of eccentric force on those triceps and on the tricep tendons. So what did we get out of this? We ended up getting heavy benching, and we got more moderate rep Skullcrushers. Again, working the whole tricep, the others more towards the lateral head. And then we got these band press downs to where we just hammered really high pump work with an overspeed eccentric. to help build the tendons, get blood flow, and just finish them off. And again, after all the other work, this ends up being 10 total sets for triceps between 2 rep ranges. It's a lot of tricep work, but I feel like this is what I have to have. I've got to get those triceps up. I think this is a good angle, though, to see that I'm definitely getting leaner. Obviously, I still have fat and loose skin through the whole love handle area, and I'm just going to have to keep getting leaner. I've noticed, though, from the camera angles, as the scale started dropping again, it is getting smaller. So it's where it seems like any weight I'm losing at this point is coming from that area. So again, I want to see, I think with another 4 or 5 pounds, I think we'll see a very, very noticeable difference there. And then I'll just keep assessing. Like I said, I'm probably going to drop down to about 200, but I'm going to take my time getting there. But overall, very happy with today's workout. It was productive, got a lot of work done, happy with it. So I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.